Hello. Whether you're a complete beginner or you've been doing this for a while, I hope there's something in here for you. For about the next minute, I want to speak directly to beginners, but then I'll go a little deeper. And whoever you are, stick with me. I think you'll find something interesting. Think of this video as an orientation. It's the groundwork for more videos that will come later. I'm not going to go super deep on any single thing today. That's what follow-ups will be for later. But today, I want to show you my prompt library here, explain how I organize this, and give you a framework for thinking about this stuff. Sound good? Let's get into it. All right, beginners, this part is for you. I showed my wife the thumbnail for this, which here's the thumbnail I came up with. And she said, "What's a prompt library?" If that's for you right now, it's perfect. Let me explain. If you have ever talked to ChatGPT and not gotten the results that you want, that's because of the prompt, right? A prompt is simply what you type in to an AI. That's it. It's the question that you ask. It's the instructions that you give. And the thing that nobody tells you is how you ask matters as much as what you ask. So think about this. If you walked up to an expert and said, "Help me," they would say, "With what?" And if you said, "I'm trying to write a professional email to decline a meeting without burning a bridge," now they can help you. It's the same thing with AI. The better your prompt, the better your result. So, why do I have a whole library of these? It's because I got tired of reinventing the wheel. Every time I figured out a prompt that worked really well, I would forget it a week later. So I would be back to mediocre results, knowing that I had solved this before, and it's just a waste of time. And so I always say it's about improving time, saving yourself time, improving your output, and anyway. So I started writing these down and categorizing them, and now I have 45 of these techniques that I can pull anytime that I need them. I can share these with other people like you, and I can also give these to an AI to write other prompts, which is a whole nother story. It's like Inception, right? Anyway, this is like having a recipe book instead of trying to have to remember how to cook everything from scratch. Now, here's how I organize them, and this is important. If you've ever been skiing, the trail markers, the green circles are for beginners, the blue squares are for intermediate, and the black diamonds are for expert. I use the same system to organize my prompts. Some techniques are green circles. Anyone can use them today, right now, and see immediate improvement. Some are blue squares. They take a little more practice, but they're powerful once you get the hang of it. And some are black diamonds. These are advanced things that, honestly, you may not need these until you're building complex systems, but it just depends. I think everybody can get into these pretty quickly, but try not to start with the black diamonds necessarily. We don't want you to go in too deep, too fast, and feel like you get lost or frustrated. So start with the green ones. When in doubt, just back up, simplify. And they say it takes 10,000 hours to master anything. I think you can do that you can do that 10 times as fast using AI, but in any case, start slow. Let me show you a couple of these from each level. So let's just pick any one of these. Let's say the role assignment. So let me open this up. Act as a. This is the foundational technique, like it says. Act as a X. Act as an expert in this, or act as an expert in English language. Act as an expert marketer. Something like that. As it says, this gives context, so you're telling it what type of expert that you want to be working with. Maybe you would say, act as a hiring manager at a Fortune 500 tech company. Review my resume and tell me what would make you throw it in the trash. And give it your resume and see what you get. Yeah, there you go. All right, let's go to the next one. Let's pick a blue square. This one here that says chain of thought. This is where you ask the AI to think step by step before giving an answer. This works incredibly well for very complex problems. So the idea is to think step by step before answering. That's all you have to say. Yeah, and you give it a couple steps and ask it to go through that process. And yeah, that will improve the results. Okay, and then black diamond. Let's see. How about self-consistency? Let's see what this one says. So this is where you have the AI generate multiple responses and then evaluate which one is best. It's checking its own work. So ask it to evaluate from multiple places, provide a clear recommendation for each one, and then synthesize them all together. Where do they agree? Where do they disagree? And what's your final recommendation? So this is advanced, but it's very powerful, and just try it. Just try this stuff for a couple different things. And I wanted to mention that I've recently heard some people say that prompt engineering is dead, or that it will be, because AI is getting smart enough that you won't need these techniques. My take is, even as AI gets better and better at understanding you, knowing why these approaches work will give you a competitive edge when they don't. If I always say that AI is easy to get wrong, and it's just, you may want to drop down into these techniques, and it will be useful, I think, for anybody that's studying this stuff or in working in any position in any industry, to have at least some exposure and some knowledge of some of these different types of techniques. So as you use AI for your own work or in your own life, again, it's just a list of techniques, and it's the way you ask, right? So this idea that prompt engineering is dead is like saying, well, now that GPS exists, you don't need to understand directions, or you don't need to know how to read a map. But every once in a while, GPS will fail and you'll be completely lost. You'll have to go to a paper map or figure out your own way to navigate. Or if it takes you off track, then you need to know that to get it back on track. I heard that long ago. Your doctor or your surgeon, they may be able to look things up. Maybe they have a robot assistant on the side, but eventually there will need to be human beings that understand what's going on under the hood here, right? Anyway, the fundamentals always matter. So here's what I want from you. Look at this list and drop a comment here on this video. Which one of these should I go deeper on next? I've been thinking about making an individual video on every single one of these and doing a deep dive into the different techniques. But it depends on what people need and what people ask for. If you're brand new to this, tell me that too. I would be happy to point you to whatever would be best to start with. This stuff has genuinely changed how I work every day, and I want it to do the same for you. That's it. See you in the next one.